Phil Robertson of Dynasty fame gave a speech at a Christian event where he talked about atheists and how they have absolutely no concept of morality. Now, he gave a weird hypothetical involving an atheist man who has two daughters that are getting raped. Now, I don't want to put words into his mouth. I want you guys to hear audio of this. Right Wing Watch obtained this audio, and they did a good job in doing that. Take a listen.
Two guys break into an atheist home. He has a little atheist wife and two little atheist daughters, and tie him up in a chair and gag him. And then they take his two daughters in front of him and rape both of them and then shoot them. And they take his wife and decapitate her head off in front of him. And then they can look at him and say, isn't it great that I don't have to worry about being judged? There's no right or wrong. Now, is it, dude? And then you take a sharp knife and take his manhood and hold it in front of him and say, wouldn't it be something if this was something wrong with this? But you're the one that says there's no God, there's no right, there's no wrong. So we're just having fun. We're sick in the head. If it happened to them, they probably would say, something about this, it just ain't right.
Yeah, of course they would, you fucking moron. No atheist says there's no right or wrong. You made that up. And how nobody says nobody should be judged. We have a whole justice system that we're in favor of.
It's the timing of this couldn't be better. He is making this ridiculous speech at a time when the news is dominated with headlines indicating that religious people, the most religious fundamentalist people, are decapitating others in the name of religion. Right? So, I mean, if you're going to have a conversation with me about morality and who's more moral, I mean, I don't see atheists decapitating people. You don't need religion at all for morality, okay? The fact that you think you need religion for morality makes me question whether or not you're a good person. Because your fear of God is supposedly making you a good person, right? I don't fear God. I don't fear anyone. I'm just a good person because that's the right way to live.
Yeah, no, this guy's a sick dude, by the way. I mean, what is with the analogy of two little daughters who are being raped and the wife who's being decapitated? I mean, what the hell's going through your mind? You're the sicko. Nobody's thinking of that except you, right? Except for ISIS, as Anna's pointing out, who are religious fundamentalists. And by the way, just yesterday there was a news story about how the leader of Bob Jones University had to apologize for saying that gays should be stoned to death. He said that back in 1980, and now that became a controversy again. Yet another religious person, in this case a Christian, who wants to murder people based on his faith.
So some of you might make the argument that, hey, that was 35 years ago. You know, if we're talking about modern day people and modern day Christians, that's not fair. There's a Christian lawyer in California right now who's trying to pass a ballot measure that would allow people to kill gays.
So now there are no, look, we're not saying there are no bad atheists. Of course, there are atheists who've done terrible things throughout history. There are atheists who've done terrible things in this country recently, right? But they don't do it because of the atheism. Whereas the religious people go, my text says I must cut off your hands and your heads, etc. My text says that we're going to have an Armageddon and I need to kill all of you, okay? I need to kill all the infidels and Jesus is going to come back and murder all of you, right? That's because of my religion I am doing these things. Nobody says because of the atheist dogma. There is no atheist dogma. There is no atheist text. There is no atheist Bible. They don't get commanded to do any of that stuff. And atheists are moral and decent people for two reasons. One, because they have an internal morality that guides them, because they're decent human beings. I'm talking about, so you don't need a Bible to tell you that God will murder you in order to be a decent human being, right? That only people that think that way are people who are not decent human beings, who would do such things and who fantasize about doing such things, but the only reason they don't do them is because they fear their sky god. Right? Now, the second reason people realistically don't do things is because they're afraid there are going to be consequences, right? So that's what we have as human beings, created a justice system. That's why we created a country where we are led not by your insane ideology or your particular religion, but we are led by laws made up of men and women in this democracy. Together, we get together, we decide what is moral, what is not moral. In this case, not morality like, oh, you're wearing the wrong thing. Morality like, that is murder and rape and and robbery, etc. We have decided those things should be illegal, and there will be justice if you commit those crimes, right? That's why people don't do bad things. Now, in his case, he doesn't believe in any of that. He just thinks, oh my God, what if the sky god gets angry at me? I mean, I would love to go in there and rape people and behead them, etc. That's my nature, right? But then the sky god would take notes and punish me later. You're a wacko, dude, man. You're a wacko of the first order. When he started with, he has a little atheist wife and 2 little atheist daughters. Gave me a chill down my spine, even before he got to the rape and the beheadings.
It's just incredible to hear this person who preaches hatred toward the gay community telling us what is and is not considered moral, how to be a moral person. He is the last person that I would consider moral. The most fundamentalist religious individuals in this country are the most immoral people that you can imagine. So I'm amused at the thought of him being an expert at morality, especially considering some of the hatred he spewed in the past.
And he just said right there that this is the stuff that he thinks everybody would do, because apparently he would do it. That's what's in his mind, unless they fear an almighty God who would give them consequences. If it wasn't for that, I guess this is what Phil Robertson would do all day, because he's a sick, sick son of a bitch.